Chicagoland investors, should you allow pets in your property or not? We took our 2025 data and we researched what the timeline it was to rent a property and some of the other factors around people allowing pets or not allowing pets. Hi, I'm Mark Ganley, partner, founder, GC Realty Development, also co-host of Chicago's #1 real estate investing podcast, Straight Up Chicago Investor, which we've been doing since 2020. So we have over 400 episodes that have awesome content for all Chicagoland real estate investors. But today we're talking about pets or no pets. If you followed me in the past or you know anything about me, I've always screamed from the mountaintop that you should accept pets just for the mere fact that over 50% of tenants these days have pets and like another 18% might want to get pets. So by selecting no there, when people go to Zillow and select their area and pets Y, you've eliminated almost 2/3 of of the potential applicants that could come through. But what I did is I took our study from 2025 where we rented 391 units to properties, for properties that we manage. So I think we did over 500 total, but we do tenant placement and you can reach out for about tenant placement if you're ever interested. We do that for everyday clients, but we rented 391 for our specific properties that we manage. So of those 391, we tracked how many days it took to rent the ones without pets and the ones with pets. And to my surprise, it only took a couple days longer to rent the ones that did not allow pets. Now, I was shocked because typically when we've done this in the past, it was up to a couple weeks. Now, when we dug into some of this data, there's some things we found out. About 2 or 3 weeks into the process of many of the ones that weren't allowing pets, they switched to allowing pets. So that kind of screwed up some of the data as well too. But then the other thing is, what we did notice, and I'm going to put more data on our research out on this, is the ones that did not allow pets had twice as many price drops as the ones that did accept pets. So a little different of a process, and the one number that I'm trying to wrap my head around is how much less per unit monthly rent did it receive. So if it dropped the price twice, if you had a pet, would you rent it at $2,000, but you had to rent it at $1,925, and now you lost a couple days, you lost $75 a month of rent and so forth. So that's a little more that we're digging into. But at the end of the day, I just want you to take away that we live in, if you have a rental property, you have hardwood in the city, or if you have vinyl plank in the suburbs, or vice versa, these houses become pretty pet friendly. And a lot of people are scared of pets, but pets, everyone can tell you a horror story they heard from their cousins, brothers, uncle, whatever. But those horror stories, if you really dig into those, they usually trace back to a lot of red flags in the application process. And the application process is where you should figure out if you want to accept this tenant with the pet or not. Very rarely, I don't have the exact number on this, and I'm going to actually dig into this. At places where we've had to hold back security deposits on the back end due to pet damage, in correlation with the quality tenant, we don't have too many high qualified tenants that come in pets that we have pet damage. It's usually that this took us 3 weeks, 4 weeks to rent out. Maybe it was on the market 5, 6 weeks. We accepted a tenant, we're trying to push the rent a little higher. We accepted a tenant that had, maybe if it was week 1, we probably wouldn't have accepted, but this is where we're at. They coincidentally have 2 pets. So now you start running into these exceptions. And where that really starts off is pricing your unit right. And I'll put a link here below to download a rental analysis, because if you price it right, you accept pets, you're going to get the awesome tenant. You're going to have a higher pool of people to pull from. And ultimately, here's another data set that I want to look into is the people that don't allow pets, how long do they stay in the unit versus the ones that have pets? That could be a good reason why someone moves, because they want to get a dog. So I'll get back to you guys on some of that data with that. But when it comes to tenant placement, putting the right people in there, it's super important. If you need any help with that, we can help here at GC Realty, and we also offer full service property management. So anything around pets, leasing, requirements, you need a copy of a lease, we'll help you out. Reach out anytime. Mark Ganley, talk to you soon.